As an educator in a museum, it's really great to work with different audiences, whether they're school children or senior citizens, and introduce them to this idea of really learning from objects and looking at objects. So I just am fascinated by the stuff.
Okay, I really like museums because I think that they're a great place to learn about all sorts of different kinds of things, and you can see stuff that you don't get to see anywhere else, and you get to be up close and personal with it, and that's pretty cool.
When I was a kid, my parents took me to museums a lot. It got me interested in history, archaeology, paleontology, all sorts of interesting things that I probably wouldn't have been interested in otherwise.
I became interested in museums because I found that it was a place where I could learn and explore sort of at my own pace.
Being in museums with my kids, being in museums on my own, that would be a really great place to teach science, which is what I'm interested in.
I have always been interested in museums. It was something that we would go to when we would go visiting vacation and stuff like that. So that was always something that I associated with the fun time. If there was no school, I could just go out with my family and have that afternoon with them going to a museum.
And I have the wonderful job of working with all our volunteers who are super important to the CU Museum.
So we can't actually run any of the programs we do in the museum without volunteers. From the most basic thing of helping us set up our tables and chairs, to interacting with audience, to being the experts.
It's literally thousands of hours our volunteers give to this museum and frankly give back to the community.
Because without them, we have no museum.
We'd probably close our doors, to be honest with you.
Why should other people volunteer? I guess my answer is kind of selfish. I think it's fun.
I get to hold stuff like this, and I'm a gigantic kid here. And I would hope the volunteers would agree that how much fun it is to share this with all the visitors.
It's definitely working with the audiences because they're always new.
I volunteer so that I can help inspire other kids to become interested in the same things I was.
If you're somebody who's interested in science, to not only increase your own science literacy, but learn ways to communicate science better to people who may not understand it.
One becomes a volunteer by contacting the Museum Education Office. And at the beginning of the school year, we'll have a table at the volunteer fair.